I move the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
Any corrections, deletions, anything anybody wants to add or anything? No? Seeing none, those in favor? Okay. Everybody is in favor. Hope you don't mind the purple.
Where'd you get a purple pin
I
from?
brought it with me. There's no need. You know.
I gave you one.
Oh, you did. Thank you. But you should never give me one that's like a little godlike person.
I know.
Oh.
Selectmen's comments, we'll start with Colin.
Only one thing today, the Get Ready grant funding that we are using to enhance the meeting capabilities. They installed the new wiring into the back of the room here and also into the basement meeting room, and they're delivering everything else later this week. So we'll have be high tech next select board.
We can go live, we can do live stream.
If we wanted to, but we'll have an owl in the middle, and that will be our video recording device in the future.
That'll be your okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Allison?
I was just gonna let you know, that despite apparently the state's best intentions, the property tax stabilization, most of you are aware of this, they ran out of money, and so we're not reimbursed 100%. And so there's a bill, rather than put it in the governor's budget, which wouldn't take effect until maybe March, but maybe June, somebody from the Appropriations Committee put in a bill to make it happen sooner. And so that public hearing is next Wednesday, and I've already written testimony on it. So it could be a lot quicker.
I have to say, it's a real surprise that the state would change us on anything.
Yep. They should be reimbursed.
Just want to say I had another nice ride down Route 127 on the way down here.
Oh, you must be watching me on Facebook.
The bad have to. All you can do is drive down.
You just gotta buy a vehicle that rides nicer. That's
Yeah,
all.
we'll have the plow on the front of it and everything.
All I have is I met with Kim today, most of the board knows, but I met with Kim today, and we're going over the investments and some of the accounts and these small, very, very small CDs, and we are going to set up a meeting with the auditor, the accountants, and see what we can do about that. You know, some of them are decades old, some are 200, 500, and see if we can put them into their proper places or figure out what to do. And you know, obviously. That's it.
The only thing I've got is Dale Reno called me the other night, and he's volunteered to do the other two outside of the walls on the old townhouse the same way he did them the last time. We buy the materials and the paint, he'll supply all the labor. And he also said he'd fix the lintel over the front door for me and all that stuff. And I think because it's gonna be labor free, I've got enough money in my budget to do that.
Is he angling for another Spirit of America award?
I think so. I think so.
Oh, that's
But, no,
That's great.
I was really
That's
surprised.
wonderful.
He said he'd really like to finish the job, and I said I'd like to have you. So he did a good job on the two walls he did, and if I have enough money left over, I'd like to look and see if I can find somebody that still manufactures wooden windows, because the windows in that building are almost 200 years old, and when you open them, they rack, and they're pretty, and we'd never find windows to fit it. I mean, there's no two windows in that building that match. Anyways,
That's great.
public comments, Debbie?
No.
All right. Town administrators report, Kim.
All right, well, since Jason stole my thunder on the CD account, I don't really have anything to talk about that.
Sorry about that.
Nope, I got some other stuff. So, we are all set for coverage on the ambulance with insurance.
Thank you.
After reaching out to MMA, I spoke with Tyler from Georgetown. They luckily have MMA insurance as well, but apparently the adjusters don't talk to each other because we had to do a memorandum of agreement so that do the value of the ambulance just in case anything was to happen to it insurance-wise. So we're good to go on that.
It has to be done on a case-by-case
Yeah.
basis.
That has to be done on a case-by-case basis.
Anytime we
Okay.
loan them anything of any value, we have to do this
Like,
on a case-by-case basis.
Can we make a template for that or something so that we have it read or something that we know what we have to have in order.
Well, it sounds like we,
So it seems like the best thing is to make sure the select board knows, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
And then you know. Is that what you mean? Is it?
Well, because we
can
need to
do it
make
very
sure.
quickly. We
Yeah.
can do it in a few hours.
So now we know what we need,
Right.
it will just be.
We just need to know ahead of time
Yes.
before, what this is about for the sake of the cameras, Georgetown's, both of their ambulances are down and we loaned them one of ours.
Is it back yet?
No, hopefully tomorrow.
So to protect
you
that.
could have driven it up, right?
Right, yeah, insurance, we had to make sure that they were covered on their insurance for our
Yeah,
ambulance.
we're hoping to get one of those back tomorrow.
Okay, sorry, Kim.
That's fine.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem at all. I reached out to Joel Mary, about getting a sheriff's deputy here for the primaries. He's gonna either call or come here tomorrow, said there should be no issue with that.
That's March 5th?
March 5th, yeah. So he's gonna come here and we'll discuss that. They'll probably do 2 deputies doing a 4-hour shift, because I said 7:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
So they'll break that up. I said I'd provide them breakfast and lunch. Seacoast Security is going to be here on the 21st to give us a quote on putting a siren on the side of the building. So if the door gets,
The alarm, it goes on.
yeah, so if it does not get shut, then a siren will get triggered and it will go off in the parking lot.
And you'll
So that way, hopefully, they haven't sped off in their vehicle already and they will hear the siren.
That's right, and adding to that, the nice thing is it has gotten recoded, right?
Yes.
And so what will happen is on burglar, I call them burglar alarms, whatever they're called, when they call David or and I always ask, and I know you do too, has anybody entered a code? So with the fire alarm on Sunday morning, somebody
Right.
was here,
Right.
code was entered within seconds, but she said unfortunately we have to dispatch it.
They never canceled for 16 minutes. They didn't cancel it until 16 minutes later. They finally did call back. I was at work.
Yeah.
It was 16 minutes later.
Well, I spent an hour on the phone Sunday, and I finally got to somebody and wanted to track that down to find out.
Yeah.
And you know, doesn't matter what happened, but somebody was there
Yeah.
entering the code within seconds of it, but it doesn't cancel
Right.
because it's a fire alarm.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Yeah.
so hopefully all
Which
of
they
this.
said, I talked to them on Monday, they had everything taken care of.
Yeah. You know,
They were
we-
confused, they're like, well, it's a fire department.
Right, well, just so you know,
Fire alarm.
we never knew that because it hasn't gone off.
Right.
It hasn't gone off in a long time.
Yeah.
So,
I do have a question. So this siren, that's only going to be active after the code has been entered to secure the building, correct? It's not going to be like when we're here during the day and the
No,
building
no.
is deactivated. Okay,
You-
I just want to make sure.
If you've armed the alarm
Right, okay.
and not done it correctly, now, watching the videos, what was happening, people just walk out and
Right.
let go of the door.
And they get stuck.
The
Yeah.
wind might catch the door or something,
Yeah.
you got 60 seconds to get out of the building. Well,
Yeah.
if somebody stands in, fiddles for their keys for 20 seconds, and then they walk out, and that door doesn't close that fast,
Yeah.
and what is happening, even if it closes completely, if it hasn't closed in 60 seconds, the alarm goes off.
Yeah.
And if it just hits in the stop and doesn't close, so every time that it went off in the last 2 months, it was not somebody coming into the building.
Leaving.
Because they immediately reset it, because they realize it, because it buzzes right there, right?
Yeah.
What is happening is people walk out the door, and, like that young fellow who was here 11 o'clock at night, he just walked out and let go of the door.
Yeah.
And it didn't close in time.
Yeah.
and he drove away,
He drove away.
not knowing that
Right.
the alarm's going off.
So with a siren up, there used to be a siren on the end of the building when I first got elected selectman. And we always knew when the alarm went off, because, it went off before we could get in our car. So then we ran back and reset it. Back then, the alarm company never bothered to call. Unless it didn't get reset, they didn't call. But now they call even if it gets reset. I don't mind waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning. What I don't like is when I get waking up at 1 o'clock in the morning, I have to get in my car and drive down
Right.
here.
Right.
Has been posted and everybo's been informed. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's on the door, make sure it's shut. The
Just
door was
push it
having
shut.
problems when snow and ice was getting in it, and it just wasn't shutting,
Yeah.
Well, when I first got elected, the front door of the building here was funky, and it would go off all the time. So we got in the habit, we'd go out, shut the door, and we'd stand there for a few seconds, listening to the siren. If we didn't hear the siren in 45 seconds, we'd get in the car and drive off. But anyways,
Just a reminder to the select board that there is a budget meeting next Tuesday.
Yep.
At 2 o'clock, and, I believe Sean is first at 2 o'clock, and Danny's at 2:30.
I think that's
Oh,
what
good.
she told me.
Yep. Mike, I didn't switch this up.
Is that it? So we're done 3 or whatever?
Yep.
Just the 2 things?
Yep, just those 2 things. I tried to get Leslie from the library, and she's on vacation. She has another meeting in the next couple of Tuesdays, so.
Have you heard from any of the committees? Planning board, zoning board of appeals, any of them, if they want money?
No,
I thought Suzanne got back.
Suzanne did, yeah, but I thought
Special
that
events.
Colette wanted the same amount as last
The 700.
year.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I think.
Yeah, that was the only one.
Yeah, I think we plugged in, like, Board of Appeals, we plugged in the 100, right?
100, yeah.
And planning board.
Planning board, I thought had a lot of money.
They
and
did. I
They
think
were just
we-
gonna carry that, didn't we carry that forward?
We've carried some forward, then we decide whether we
Yeah.
lapse.
We always leave enough money so they can
Yeah.
buy their advertising, but
Well,
we usually lapse.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have a year where there's 2 or 3 subdivisions, they make a lot of money. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and then just a reminder to everybody, except for Chris, because Chris is the only one I've gotten that report from, is the town submissions for the town board.
Volumes about done.
We haven't met the deadline yet.
No.
The 15th,
We're not there yet.
not there.
Oh, no, I don't.
All right, that's all I have.
So we need to talk to Chris to make sure he doesn't like continue to get these signatures.
Okay.
I know, I said nothing, and an hour later,
Yeah.
here you go,
What's the
Kim.
problem, Mr. Overton?
You don't have enough to do right
Making us look bad.
No more than 6 pages. All right, moving on. Road commissioner, Jack.
Really nothing, we're patching, coping along, moping along. The roads are gonna be posted as of tomorrow, as well as the scarcity is. It's been mentioned that it may be a little earlier, but we don't go by time, we go by weather. And obviously, we can't afford to break up any hot top. So we're gonna have to be quite strict this year, with the warmer days that we've been having.
There is a pothole that's a pretty good sized one. It's between the house where the guy that works for Reed and the Smith house. There's a pothole when you're heading this way.
I think that failed.
Did you get that?
I think it's.
I didn't come that way tonight.
No, yesterday, all those got filled.
We should have been in there, we'll bring it up under advisement, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think yesterday was a warm enough to use patch for all the.
Yeah, good.
And I'm reaching for hot dog prices. And, I don't know where that's going, like everything, it's up. So, that's all I got, there's nothing, everything all good with you, Kim?
Did that gentleman from CMP reach out to
Yes.
you?
I
Okay,
had a good talk with him, and that's only gonna affect us in a small way up on the mountain road.
okay.
But I'm very glad that he reached out because, we have got WhatsApp. It probably won't even be this year, but it may be.
Okay.
So other than that, I have nothing else that I can,
Thank you. Anybody on the board have any questions? Okay, thanks, Jeff. Chris?
So, it's been a while since I've been able to be here, but just wanted to, some of this you already know, but just real quickly, I've been working with the planning board to get Woolwich up to speed on our ordinances regarding LD 2030. I think it paid off that Woolwich was a little late to the party because, one, we had the same attorney in all 3 towns that I work with. Georgetown and Rouseck did extensive work last year thinking that it was going to be needed for this 2023 time period. So in essence, the planning board's really been able to capitalize on that, I think, using a lot of Rouseck's language to tie into Woolwich's ordinances so that we will be in compliance come July 1 of this year. So no concerns there at all. I believe that we're going to be in good shape. Not that we won't update it as the years go by to see how this all plays out, but nevertheless. It's always been a concern of mine that, again, in my opinion, this law runs over home rule. And so that's been my main concern, that whatever we do it in the best possible way to maintain the character of the town as it was desired from town people or from the comprehensive plans or those kind of things. So the other thing is, and I know you know this, but I'm still excited about it, we finally got Bailey Bluff taken care of, I believe. The last piece of it was that we did have a new consent agreement signed that Kristen drafted. It is very similar to the last one, only ties in where we landed as far as an agreement. Jorgensen's has already begun the work. They have done the pruning on site, and then this spring will, and they've been paid the first installment, and so everything seems to be progressing nicely. So with that being done, I thought we'd pick up a different problem, and 1501 Middle Road is continuing to be a thorn in the flesh. We found out today that there are people living in it, and that was a verbal understanding that that was not going to happen until we had full permitting. Today, as of today, we don't have anything. I have spoken to the owner who happens to live in Massachusetts. Today would be the third official time. First time was cordial, everything, yes, I'll take care of it. The second time was, I'm sorry, I haven't got to it yet, I'll get to it. Today, it was twofold. One, you told me that no one would live in it until we got it done. And two, we still don't have permits. To which I got, it must have got lost in the mail because I sent them. So, anyway, I'll leave that alone. But the issue is that this is 1501 was a legally non-conforming store in a residential zone. It ceased to be a store. This company, LLC, purchased it to turn it into I don't know what the correct term would be, a common house. It has 4 bedrooms, with each bedroom having its own bath and shower, and then it has a shared living room and kitchen. I've been through it, thanks to the contractor that was working on it. When I found out about it, the work was all done. I don't have any complaints on that end. However, I think at the very least it needs to have a permit for a change of use. Also, we don't know anything about the septic because there's no file on that property. There's no septic design. We don't know how many bedrooms it's rated for. So those kind of things are a concern. I know abutters have offered up concerns about it, and I understand that. From the paperwork and the pictures I have seen from the owner, it looks like that she's done everything appropriately. It's just we need documentation. I don't see anything in our ordinance that keeps this from happening necessarily, except that I still feel it needs to be documented. Again, the fly, Norman, is that this story, I do believe, because of the conversation I had, that she received bad information, that no permitting was necessary when she started it. Now, if this was a residential building that was being utilized in the same use, I would agree because the footprint wasn't changing. At the least, internal plumbing permits should have been pulled, but nevertheless, I've tried to be as cordial as possible with that understanding that she got bad information. But now, before today, November 14th was the last time I spoke to her that I had documentation on. I think I've called her since then, but nevertheless, she was responsive today, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm not sure what to do with the fact that it's being resided in now. So in that regard, I have reached out to Kristen. In case she doesn't follow through with this, where do we go from here? I CC'd Kim. She has a copy that she can share with you if that's of interest. But again, happy to field any questions on that. But I know that came, I think Dale brought it to the attention. And so I just wanted you to know I've acted on it, and we're...
Yeah, so obviously it was the use was, had been abandoned, right? And there was the restaurant store closed. So clearly a 4-bedroom septic use is different than the use for that, right? So obviously you need them to prove that to you, right?
Right.
And how did it get separated? How big a piece of land is it on?
Well, according to Trio, I think it's like a 6-acre lot.
A 6-acre lot. Okay, so there's no non-conformity to the lot.
Not that I can tell.
And I think I agree with what you're saying. A 4-bedroom home, we don't have any control over. He rents a room, he rents a room, he rents a room. But I definitely think the septic is of grave, serious concern.
I mean, it's a question on whether it's a commercial activity or not in a residential zone, because it is an apartment of some sort. I don't know.
But when
the store only had a toilet and a sink. That was it.
Do you remember when it started?
I don't know if they
So-
expanded that when they put it in a
Well,
restaurant.
it was
there or not.
It has two tanks, but I'm not convinced that they're linked. My guess is there's possibility one of them was for the septic and one could have been a grease
trap for the restaurant.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they've both been cleaned up, but I know nothing about the grease.
So that raises a good question that you and I talk about a lot, right? It's difficult, so if I own a 3-bedroom house and I'm the only one living there, and I've seen this, you go to Airbnb, you look online, you'll see many folks in Woolwich rent out their rooms, and they used to for 34 years ago. I guess if you only have one kitchen, you have bedrooms, obviously you have some compliance issues, you have plumbing that was done, and you have this septic. To me, it's a big problem, because I'm confident that what we know of time frame, there's maybe not an adequate septic to support that, right? But regardless, if somebody rents out their rooms, we don't really have much we get involved with. We don't really have any way to get involved in that.
But if aren't septic systems sized for the
The
number of bedrooms?
that's right.
So if there are 4 bedrooms.
That's right. There was no bedrooms. You had a restaurant, store, whatever it was. It was a daycare too, right? For a while.
Yeah.
It was a daycare after that for a while. So clearly 4 bedrooms, you know the deal, right? 2 people, the way the math's done. So that would be about
4 bedrooms and 4 baths. Actually.
Bathrooms don't necessarily count though, right? The way we
No, it's only
always
bedrooms, 90
too.
gallons a day.
You could have 2 bedrooms and 10 bathrooms, but it goes by the bedrooms and the number.
And-
Makes no sense at all.
And so the septic, the plumbing aspect is really the only thing I've got teeth in, because our ordinance seems to deal with nonconformity as in residential to commercial.
Right.
It doesn't say a lot about the other way around, so.
Well, the real quick history on that is it happened before we did our home occupation. It happened way back in the 80s. So in the 80s, the woman that ran it went next door, right?
Yep.
You know, and it became that, and there was, it was a more lax time, if you will, in the town, right? And it was okay, and then in the 90s, things changed, home occupations came on. But regardless of that, maybe the daycare was permitted, I don't even know. That was there and it went away. Now we have this, so we have a legal lot, we have a building, obviously you have a violation already because they didn't get the proper plumbing permits, right? And you have this a question about proper
The
One
problem
thing
is
she
gonna
did
be
give me
in the
was-
springtime, if that septic system can't handle the volume,
Right.
that's gonna be a problem.
So I'm definitely pursuing that. If I get an Ari Weber to inspect the field and be able to tell me with some kind of confidence that it can handle a 4-bedroom, fine. But as far as the internal, she did give me the name of the plumber that supposedly did the work, so I reached out to him to try to follow up with him, because he should have known better too, so. Anyway, that's
Did
where
you-
we're at.
Did you say that there was no change in the footprint?
The building?
I think it actually might have decreased a little bit, but not increased.
The actual foundation footprint. I don't know, I drive by it all the time.
There's a
I
small,
know, me too.
small room on the backside that's gone now, and, but that's the only change.
I think there was quite an addition put on the north end of the building.
Well, not by this owner, I don't think.
Yeah, and there was a lot of something sticking out of the side of the old building into where they had dug up and was putting in the foundation stuff for the new place. This thing's been changed.
But there's no documentation to support any of that, so I don't know what to do with it.
This all happened last summer.
Yeah,
Property card ought to give the size of the.
Well, would you have the measurements from the last time that an assessment was done for evaluation?
You mean the-
Did their building dimensions?
Property
that
card
they
would
compare
show.
I'll
what's now?
look, but that was the conversation I had with Mike and Juanita. They didn't note a change in footprint, so I'm not questioning you, but they could have missed it too, so.
We could look at the old property cards down in the basement, the old paper ones, and then compare it to what's there now. And see if there was ever a permit pulled to see if,
Yeah, I know.
for an expansion.
Good luck
Really,
trying
if
to
you-
find-
I drive by it every day and I never really noticed it.
I noticed it was
change in it.
but I didn't pay
Color.
attention.
It definitely looks different now.
And nobody was in it until really recently, right?
I think it's been get into the month.
I was gonna say, 'cause I plow up there.
It wasn't plowed for a while.
No, and it wasn't plowed, and it wasn't
The
plowed.
last storm, there was nobody living there.
Yeah, that's right, that's what I was gonna say. It was really recently, and then all of a sudden now, there's this Yeah, all
I
right.
think it was first of the month.
Well, if you need something from us, let us know, but
I can tell you there was work done on that building, it's bigger than what it was.
Okay.
Chris, I just want to say publicly real quick that I only hear great things about you. I mean, I really do. I don't mean that in the wrong. People have said nice things about dealing with you, you responding. I just think it's, you know, you're doing, in my opinion, you're doing a really good job in that town.
Thank you very much.
I was
Well-
gonna say the same thing, I'm very appreciative of what you do.
So the other thing I was gonna say was, thank you for not being, for us not being an early adopter and for you going along with that, because that always benefits this town, but also, not only are we grateful that, you know, those the 3 towns you work in have the same attorney, but we have the same CEO, so I'm grateful for that, and thanks for working through all of that bill, because I agree with you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank
I'm gonna excuse myself for the planning board and George.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
EMS director.
Thanks again for the
We have to help each other.
Yeah.
So, we had 32 calls in January and 22 transports. We've already had 7 calls this month. So it continues to be busy, which, you know, we're handling it, so I'm doing well. Revenue is way up as well, so, you know, the impact of the excess number of calls shouldn't be felt by the town. You know, revenue is covering that nicely, I think. We hired another EMT who's in her probationary period, per diem, and probationary right as a third, so that she knows our system and we can check her off things. The radio and pagers, I asked last month to use donations for a radio and 2 pagers. Turns out when we got a fresh quote from the radio, it wasn't $1,300, it was $1,700. So I could only order 1 pager. I still stayed under the $2,500, but the price just went way up. So, and I wish we could control that, but we had a pediatric training last week and it went really well. Jason Downing taught it, and I think it went really well. Also refreshing how to strap pediatric patients into the stretchers. We have a training in cardiac arrests with Ashley Moody from Bath later this month, in a couple of weeks, the 26th. And you're welcome to come and sit in if you just want to see what it's like. We're also
Given the population of our town, cardiac might be
Yes.
more appropriate.
I mean, there were just protocol updates from Maine EMS, so we had a lot of like new medications added as well as new skills that people can do, including for advanced EMTs. We can give epinephrine now on cardiac arrest. We don't have to wait for the paramedic to get there. So we're going to go over that training, and then we try to focus on that stuff. It's like, let's actually do this, you know, in a simulation rather than get on the scene and have no idea what we're doing. That doesn't happen, but you know, it's a lot easier. The Maine EMS sustainability grant, after that fun, exciting application period, thank you Kim and Tommy and Jason, everybody who helped me with that. We're gonna get $15,000. They changed how they were going to do it. They say they are sending out the letters this week to accept the money, and it will be deposited automatically. So they say that's happening. As far as I know, nobody's actually gotten the letters yet. So, and I talked to Jason, and because I have permission to apply for the grant, I have permission to sign the letter when it gets here. It's no matching funds or anything.
I wouldn't anticipate seeing one out of that grant for at least a year or 2, but just like anything else, it's going to take a while.
That's a big item, yeah.
Right. The other grant I'm looking into, the MMA Ed McDonald Safety Grant, reference traffic control devices, and we do a lot of traffic control in this department. So, and obviously, apparently people like our cones.
So that's what you.
One of the things, yeah. So I'll be adding some cones that it's come to our attention that we, especially with some of these bigger closures that we're doing, we need more devices. We need more stuff. So it covers vests. So we'll get some EMS vests. We'll get some more fire vests. It'll be a joint grant for both of us that we can get some more stuff out of. That's up to 35 or 25, I think. I can't remember.
3,000.
3,000. Yeah.
So, I was looking at that grant too, to maybe cover the light switch. So we should maybe talk about
Okay.
whether or not what we want to use it for. If we don't think the light thing is gonna happen this year, we should use it for that, I guess, but.
Okay.
You can't vote for one.
No.
I don't think we can't get it twice, I don't think.
No, you
Can't get it twice the same year, probably for the same
Right.
trip.
Well, no, you can apply in April, and then they do another one in, the fall.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, there's
it's-
two?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that might, we can look into that more. While I'm talking about lights, I've had a couple people complain about it. I don't know if you've had anybody, but there's 13 bulbs out. I know. I told them, I said, I'll bring it to the board. And
Right, so in the short term, what do we do? We're gonna talk about this light thing real quick. Even if we did get grants, and even if we did get, we must still be out of ways. Like if today the money were awarded in the contract, I mean, how long does all this take? Like, even if we did go that route.
It makes sense to me to buy enough bulbs.
Yeah, fix the
and
lights.
Rent the little thing that
Yeah, yeah.
jacks people up
Yeah.
and let's put all the bulbs in, and then if we get the grant and everything.
Pursue that while we're fixing the lights.
Pursue that,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, how much are we talking in bulbs? Couple $100 tops?
No, yeah, right, but we gotta get, so who does it? Did Frank do it? They do it? Who do we get to do it? I can't remember what we did last time.
I would think that would be good man lift training for the fire department.
It's not listening.
She's not listening.
Who does the-
I don't know. So
Do
do
we
you know
Wouldn't that be good man lift training for the fire department?
I'm not, no, ever since that incident was casted, we're not gonna have anything to do with the lift.
Right,
Nope,
right.
no, I'm not getting
So
with
is this a
somebody.
deal we reach out to Frank and get,
If-
is it, no, I'm
Whatever you guys wanna
asking a
do.
question. But obviously there is,
Yeah, we gotta have somebody.
gotta fix the
Gotta have
bulbs.
somebody
All right.
put them in, but,
all right.
you know.
So Sean, we've got about 20 bulbs that we can donate
That fit,
that are
They're fluorescent
the right
bulbs.
flavor.
but they're the right things.
Are they the right line?
Right length.
What-
Yeah, 4-foot T12s or whatever they are, yeah.
Now, are you thinking that you wanna do all the lights, replace them all, or just the ones that are blown? I know a couple of years ago, they just did a big thing and they put all brand new bulbs in them. I don't,
Let's get a price both ways.
I don't know. I mean, it is true, we have to have a man left, whether it's Frank,
Right,
or the
right.
next guy, or whoever. We gotta do it safely, gotta do it right, you gotta move away stuff so they.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense to do all of them, since we have the,
while we're talking about it, MMA Kyle,
Yep.
when he was here, we did a building walkthrough. If anybody has, I don't know if it's that size, but these covers that go on that, we need one in the bathroom downstairs. He said that was a red flag for him, and there's one in there that I don't think it ever came with one. Dan and I've never seen
Oh,
one,
yeah, okay, yeah, they're all.
but it needs a cover.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anybody comes across one or not, but those are the only two things he pointed out. But those are things that he
What
mentioned.
cover?
The plastic cover.
The plastic cover that goes over those covers
okay.
come on.
Gotcha.
So if they
The other
blow-
one is an
Gotcha.
LED light, so it doesn't need that.
Right. But that's the
So
only.
you need one of them or two of them?
He said one in there
And the bathroom.
and the one in the bathroom. There's a fluorescent one and an LED one, and the
Yeah.
fluorescent one needs a cover.
The LED's fine, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still get them.
Oh, yeah. What he's supposed to do is get ahead of the guy, take that one.
I was gonna say.
I didn't know we were doing a walkthrough.
I didn't know, you just asked the question.
All right, we'll see what we can do, yeah.
So I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did I leave off? Looking at a building next week. I had somebody who lives on the middle road, Riverview Drive, River Edge Drive, I think, just up from the ponds by Dates Ferry. They have a building that they were asking if it would be possible if the fire department would want to burn them at some point. I have not given a yay or nay or anything like that. I said I want to see them. I'm going to take one of our fire inspectors with me, and we'll go take a look at it, see if it's something we can get any use out of. I did offer them the alternative. I said, we might not be able to burn it, but it might be good training building for us if we can get some training out of it as far as using the building and going through walls, breaching things like that. So we would definitely be interested, depending on the situation.
Are
So
they houses or garages?
I think it's a garage or shop or barn or whatever, an old storage one. They want to they want to burn it and tear it down and then put a new one up, I guess, with an apartment or something. But
This is that same, it's the same process before the
oh yeah,
you
but
have to
it's
go to them,
oh yeah,
issue a
oh I
permit.
know the process. It's
Yeah.
quite lengthy. That's why I told him. I said I'm not gonna just say yes right away. No, I got to look
I
at
think
it.
they
So.
have to take the shingles off before you.
I got a whole list.
So
I got to have it inspected by 3 different people, and oh yeah, I got a list.
Month of 128?
Yeah,
128.
it's between 128 and Cubbies. Is it River Edge Drive or Riverview Drive? River Edge.
That must be on the riverside.
Yeah, it's just up from the ponds.
Yep. Huh.
Anyway, right in there. So we're gonna go look at that. So that's just in the works. Like I said, I haven't promised anything. Oh, thank you. I just want to mention thank you to Allison for helping voice my concerns with not just my concerns, but getting the lights turned on the bridge. It's something small, but when we have an incident on the bridge, that's a big help.
So funny, I went across last night, a lot of the Woolwich lights are on, but not many of the Bath lights are on now.
That was funny because the other,
Yeah,
I
it's
went
been
through
the-
last week, it was the other way around.
No, really, I went over last night,
Yeah.
seriously, over to Rockies, and I was like, oh, because you mentioned it,
Yeah.
and there were just a few, and I see them all, and then now Woolwich is lit up.
Yeah.
But then Bath has like 2,
Yeah.
and so, whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, nothing to do with me.
Magic.
We got our lights, so that's I think that's it. Compressor. Yeah, that's what I have.
Sean, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. How many calls did you say you had?
10.
10, thank you. Okay.
Okay. Anybody have anything under old business? Okay. New business.
Yes, Julie Mackey called me today and said that she is not prepared. The person that she was supposed to get some paperwork and information from was not ready to come. So I had a conversation with her and I said, so this Silver Sneakers program is a program out of Wisconsin Parks and Rec, and it's a senior program that they get a discounted rate or can go for free to exercise.
So I used to do that.
And she had called us a while ago. She was very upset that nobody knew what the Silver Sneaker program was.
But this is the community center thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So I told her today that, if she is looking for a donation from the town, she needs to go through the donation process. And she needs to get a petition and she needs 50 signatures. And she was very upset that we did not have a form to provide her that gave her an outline of how to do this. And it was very unprofessional of us. I said, and we cannot tell you how you
So she
word
wants
your
the-
petition, unfortunately.
So she wants the town to pay
She
for,
wants like a donation account,
Okay.
so because,
and for our residents?
Yep,
How many of
Only
them?
I don't
for the
know.
But this program is only for senior citizens.
it's for
Right,
senior
right,
citizens.
right.
It's a
and-
nationwide program.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Where-
so the town of Alna participates, so I contacted Alna, and they do the same thing, they had to petition just for a donation, but they contribute it all for the Wiscasset Parks and Rec. It's not under Silver Sneakers, it's under, because they're a
It's just
community
donations,
partner
okay.
with the Wiscasset Parks and Rec,
What they
which I
asked
think
us.
they tried to get us to be. a
Which we did not.
Which we don't want to be.
Right, we
So
don't.
I don't know if that's gonna be different than
Well,
just
that's
wanting
because
to.
we are already partnering with the City of Bath.
Right. So how much?
Through our issue one.
Well, it was, if I recall, it was a per capita thing, and,
Yeah.
yeah, right. So.
Wait, what? What?
What's that?
RSU
Our students, our children, if they wanna play soccer or something,
Oh,
they
okay.
pay to the town of Bath.
Okay, okay.
So how much does it cost? What I mean is,
I have no
I mean,
idea.
for an individual to do this,
Well, this is what I'm wondering, is like, is it gonna be, like, say, she gets a petition for $500, like,
Mhm.
is it like first come, first served for like the first, however many senior citizens sign up for it?
I have no idea
or-
that. She was gonna come to the select board and present what the program was all about, but she wasn't prepared to do so.
Okay,
I
So,
believe it's, for a year over there, it's around $250 for somebody to go on to that, like,
okay.
for better.
I know it's cheaper than Bath. the
I
wine.
looked at the Alden Town report and I wanna say that their, donation to the Wiscasset Parks and Rec was like $2,600.
Right, if I recall, ours was around 6,000, why do I remember this
Yeah.
one? Per capita thing they came up with in the presentation and all that, but we still had said the process and
Yeah.
we weren't excited, I mean, it's another expense, right?
So she
Yeah.
was gonna talk to her friend and see what they could come up with for the petition
And
and
for
get back
some-
in touch with us.
For some people, the way I understand it is their insurance, their Medicare, but depending on what kind of Medicare Part D, I think, they have, will pay for the Silver Sneakers, or there's a reimbursement. We did that at the Y, because of the paperwork involved in reimbursing this particular insurance company, they stopped doing it. And so I heard that a whole bunch of people from Woolwich were gonna stop going to the pool at the Bath Y and head over to Wisconsin, but
So she
Okay.
was gonna, see what she could come up with
What is our deadline, real quick, what's our deadline on that? Like,
To have for like
Yeah.
the donations,
well,
everything submitted
well,
for
if
the
they were-
warrant?
If they're pursuing this, we've run into this before, right? Like how, you know, for this year's town meeting, is it?
Well, I mean, I had sent all the donation request agencies that I wanted the deadline was February 15th. But, you know, she's just now finding out about this. I need the warrant done by March 10th or better.
She should go to,
So-
sit outside at the.
She said Shaw's going door to door. She said, that's fine, I did tell her what the deadline was, so.
Yeah, on that note, how do we end up with Tedford on that? Did they still?
Oh,
I
when we
mean,
saw.
I have not heard anything
They
from
still have to get
Ted.
the petition.
No, but they were pretty close, they were collecting signatures on Saturday.
Okay.
And I told Kit St. John not to wait until we have signatures if you wanna come and talk to us about it,
Okay.
but you haven't
I
heard.
have not heard a thing.
I'm just checking. All right, thanks. Sorry about that.
Yep. So, that's all I have on that.
All right.
Okay, abatement. We have an abatement here for $981.75. It was due to an error. We have to sign this and pay the people. I have a motion to do so.
I would move that we grant the abatement for the, I don't know, you stated.
Second.
Okay, those in favor? Okay.
Was this an error on your part, David?
I think, no, this was an error on the part of our
Oh, assessing.
assessing agent.
Okay. There you go, Dave. Just one place, I guess.
Is there anything further to come before the board? Anybody have anything?
Was there a second abatement?
Excuse me?
Was there a second abatement in the folder?
There was an initial abatement that Juanita had handed out, which was the same one. But when Candace and I calculated it, it was incorrect. So Juanita had to fix it.
So I'm not signing it. Right?
Correct,
Right.
yes.
Yes, it's still there. Well,
Yeah.
thank you for picking up on that.
That's before
Yeah.
David, what's your surgery?
10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Good luck.